Hey everyone, this is Mike with Crooked Crow Crafting. Today's video is on my scratch build of an Imperial Bunker. It's a long video, so I placed photographs of the finished build at the beginning in case you don't make it all the way to the end. Please like and subscribe to the video. Thanks. All of the pieces were made out of chipboard and foam. I used Citadel Skulls for the small skulls, and the large skull came from some Halloween decorations I bought from Temu. I'll be putting out another video of how I made the ribs for the skulls. Here are my reference photos for the build. These are my drawings with the measurements I used. I'll include links to these in the video description. The foam I'm using is dollar store foam core poster board with the paper pulled off. The foam and chipboard were glued together with Aleene's tacky glue. Here are some of the basic pieces and the floor for the build. There's gel superglue in the blue top bottle. Accelerator is in the orange. You have to be careful because regular superglue will melt the foam. Here's a Space Marine for size reference. Oh yeah, did I tell you that I'm making two at the same time? More pieces for the second bunker. Here they're all cut. I mismeasured and needed to add 5mm to the floor pattern. Most measurements are close, but do require some customization. This was a nice find. Foam safe superglue. It works on other stuff too. I'm tracing a pattern for the top floor of the second bunker. Floors are installed on the upper level. Top's on and time to glue on some more pieces. I used Aleene's here, but tacked it in place with superglue while it dried. Check this out, foam filler. I've never used it before, but why not? It worked well, it's even sandable, probably better than spackle for corners. I needed to cut the skulls to mount on the front of the bunker, so out came the Dremel. I got lucky when I bought these. They are the perfect size for these bunkers. Checking placement and designing the wings. I'm making a template with baking paper. I placed the template on the foam wing to transfer the lines. Here I'm making another template from measurements on the bunker. The first template was used as a reference for the others for symmetry. I marked the locations for the feathers prior to scoring with my hobby knife. Now I'm contouring the blade cuts. I made a template for the doors out of chipboard soaked with super thin super glue. I made these with a hobby knife and on my hot wire table. Both ways worked great. Here are both doors, and one already has rivets. This is the window screen that I'm using for the metal flooring. It's more to scale than granny grading and thinner. I made the hatches to match the reference photos. I'm gluing these on with ordinary PVA glue. The cardboard I'm using is from an ordinary food container box. The perimeter will be 5mm wide box cardboard. Foam is used for the top rail of the bunker, glued down with aliens again. Here I'm cutting the contour for the front of the bunkers. Using a very sharp utility knife, meaning new, I angled the top rail. I strengthened the edges of the chipboard with super thin superglue. Watch the foam, superglue will dissolve it. I'm using traditional spackle to smooth all the foam as it handles better than the foam filler in tight spaces. Water and a clay tool saves time sanding. This is my secret to making rivets. There are 411 rivets in both the bunkers. Making rivets is just as monotonous as cutting small bricks on a hot wire table. Now I'm starting to base the bunkers using cork, pine bark, sand, and cut sprues. I use regular PVA for gluing down the basing. I made these to simulate empty rocket storage tubes. Comparing the reference photo to the build, it looks pretty good. Bring out the black Mod Podge sealer. One down and one to go. I'm using one of those cheapy battery-powered airbrushes to zenithal prime the skulls before speed painting. As you can see, I've spray painted the bunkers with a rattle can to get ready for painting. I use dark gray acrylic as the base layer of the basing. In the reference photo, the bunker looks a bluish gray, so I mixed granite gray and true blue to make the color on the plate. I wet my dry brush, load it with paint, and use my homemade texture palette prior to brushing the bunker. Here they are after the first layer of dry brushing. I use territorial beige for the second layer of dry brushing. Again, I've misplaced some video or didn't record it. You can tell the bunkers have already received a black wash. I'm using Hazy Moon for dry brushing the base. followed by silver frost. Now a final highlight for the bunker of snow white. To start on the flooring and doors, I'm using Vallejo Model Air Steel. Citadel Typhus corrosion is used to weather the steel. This stuff is extremely hard on brushes, so make sure you have a beat up or throwaway brush. I've added some speed paint medium instead of water to thin it out and help get into the screen. The camera does not do the color justice. It looks a lot more corroded in person and less shiny. To corrode the steel more, I use AK Interactive and a corner of a sponge. For the Aquila, I start with a base of burnt umber followed by hazy moon. Notice that I'm not going for total coverage with hazy moon. Army Painter Speed Paint Pallid Bone is applied over the hazy moon. I mix dark highlights and brilliant red Reaper Master Series paint for the rust streaks. Again, the video makes the door look gold and shiny, but it isn't in person. It must be the lighting. I noticed that the Aquila was a little darker than the reference photo, so I used some Citadel Wraithbone to dry brush and highlight. To paint the laser damage, I used Army Painter Hardened Leather Speed Paint and Reaper Pure Black. I just used Reaper Pure Black on the skull and shell damage. To finish, I used Rust-Oleum Matte Varnish.